The night air was warm and heavy as four college friends made their way through the narrow forest trail that led to the abandoned Ravenwood Asylum. The group was led by Daniel Carter, a 22-year-old photography student with messy brown hair, a red t-shirt, and a worn pair of jeans. Daniel loved adventure, especially exploring forgotten places and documenting them with his camera. His dream was to build a portfolio of hauntingly beautiful, abandoned locations. Walking beside him was Lisa, his best friend since childhood, cautious by nature, her black hoodie pulled tightly around her shoulders as if it could shield her from the stories that surrounded Ravenwood. Behind them were Mark, a loud and often sarcastic jokester, and Sophia, quiet and curious, but visibly uneasy about this trip. The asylum had been closed for over 30 years after a string of mysterious deaths and patient disappearances. It was said to be cursed, a place where even birds refused to nest. Local townsfolk had repeatedly warned them, no one who enters Ravenwood stays the same. Some never come back at all. Daniel, however, didn't believe in curses. He had heard all the tales of tortured patients, unethical experiments, and ghostly apparitions, but he chalked it all up to small-town myths. As they approached the massive, rusted iron gates, the group fell silent. The asylum loomed ahead like a dead giant, its broken windows reflecting the pale moonlight, ivy crawling up its cracked stone walls like skeletal fingers. A crooked sign read, "Keep out." Lisa whispered,
"Daniel, I don't like this. It doesn't feel right." Daniel gave her a reassuring smile.
"It's just an old building, Liz. Once I get my photos, we'll leave. Trust me." They pushed open the heavy gate, which screeched painfully, and stepped inside. The air grew noticeably colder. Every sound seemed magnified. The crunch of broken glass under their shoes, the distant creak of a loose shutter swaying in the breeze, even their own breaths echoing down the long hallways. The interior was a decaying maze of peeling wallpaper, rusted hospital beds, and scattered papers. Mark picked up a yellowed patient file and read aloud, laughing nervously. Patient name, Eleanor Griggs. Condition, unstable. He tossed the file aside. Unstable, huh? Sounds like my ex-girlfriend. Nobody laughed. As they explored deeper, Daniel noticed something odd about his camera. Each photo came out distorted, as though invisible movement blurred the image. In one photo, he spotted something disturbing, a faint silhouette of a tall man standing behind them. But when he looked up, there was nothing there. They reached the medical ward, where rows of rusted wheelchairs lined the walls. A single gurney sat in the center of the room, straps still attached. The air smelled of mildew and something metallic, like blood. Sophia clutched Daniel's arm. "I don't like this. It feels like someone's watching us." Mark rolled his eyes. Probably just rats. But even Mark's bravado faltered when a loud bang echoed through the hall, followed by the sound of shuffling footsteps. Lisa's voice trembled. Was that another person?" "No," Daniel whispered, scanning the darkness with his flashlight. "It came from the basement." Despite their fear, curiosity drove them forward. They descended the narrow staircase into the basement, where the electroshock therapy rooms were located. The ceiling dripped water, and the walls were covered in black mold. As they explored, Sophia suddenly screamed. Everyone rushed to her side and found her pointing at an old operating chair. "I swear, someone was just sitting here," she cried. The group froze. Then, slowly, a figure emerged from the shadows at the far end of the hallway. A tall man, in a tattered hospital gown, his face obscured by darkness. He didn't run. He simply walked toward them with slow, deliberate steps. "Run!" Daniel shouted. The group sprinted back up the stairs, but when they reached the main floor, the hallways were different. Doors they had passed earlier were now gone, replaced by solid walls. The building seemed to be shifting, trapping them inside. Breathing heavily, Lisa grabbed Daniel's arm. "This isn't possible. We're lost." Daniel tried to calm her, though his own hands were shaking. "We just need to keep moving." As they turned a corner, they found a message scratched into the wall. "Leave before midnight." The words were written in deep gouges, as if clawed by fingernails. Mark's voice cracked. "What happens at midnight?" Sophia whispered. "We don't want to find out." They pushed on, but the shadowy figure was always close behind. No matter how fast they ran, it never seemed to hurry, just walking steadily, its head tilted unnaturally. Every so often the lights would flicker, and when they came back on, the figure would be closer. The group stumbled into the children's ward, where tiny beds lined the walls, dusty toys scattered across the floor. A music box suddenly began, playing by itself, the haunting melody echoing through the room. Lisa covered her ears, screaming, "Make it stop!" The music abruptly cut off, replaced by the sound of heavy breathing, coming from right behind them. Daniel spun around and snapped a photo with his flash. For a brief second, the light revealed the figure's face, a pale, hollow visage with black, empty eyes and a mouth sewn shut. They ran again, but Mark lagged behind. "Wait! Don't leave me!" he cried. Daniel turned back just in time to see the figure's hand clamp over Mark's mouth, dragging him into the darkness. Mark's muffled screams faded, leaving only silence. The remaining three stumbled through corridor after corridor, their hope dwindling. Lisa was sobbing, Sophia was in shock, and even Daniel's determination was cracking. Finally, they burst into a large room filled with mirrors. Their reflections stared back at them, except one reflection moved on its own. The figure stepped out of the mirror. In desperation, Daniel smashed one of the mirrors with a metal pipe. The sound was deafening, and the figure let out a low, guttural growl before vanishing. For a moment, they thought they were safe. Then the clock tower above them chimed 12 times. Midnight. The building shook violently. Doors slammed, windows shattered, and a chorus of whispers filled the air, chanting in an unknown language. Lisa screamed, "We have to get out now!" They ran blindly and finally found a side door that led outside. The three of them didn't stop running until they reached their car. Gasping for breath, Daniel turned back to look at the asylum. In one of the top windows, the figure stood watching them, unmoving. As they sped away, Daniel checked his camera. Every photo showed the figure growing closer and closer with each image. The last photo chilled him to his core. The figure was standing right behind him. 1 week later, Daniel vanished without a trace. Lisa and Sophia swore they sometimes saw a man in a hospital gown standing at the edge of their street at night, just watching. And the legend of Ravenwood Asylum lived on, darker and deadlier than ever.